Hello, my name is Natalie Stevens, and this is my personal development presentation. I am a certified elementary school teacher. I graduated from Athens State University in 2015, and I started my master's at UWA in 2019. I'm 27 years old, and I am married and have two children. They're both boys, and they definitely keep us on our toes 24/7. I currently live in Section, Alabama, but I'm from Harvest, Alabama. My husband is a high school math and science teacher who comes from a very long line of school teachers, including three of his aunts, his mother, his nana, and his uncle are all educators. I am currently working as a one-to-one parapro at Stevenson Middle School, in which I'm hoping will help me get my foot in the door with getting a teaching job here pretty soon. My cognitive development was very normal growing up. I did not have any learning disabilities, and I tended to thrive in elementary school, earning all A's. I did struggle learning math once I reached middle school, specifically sixth grade, and it tended to follow me through high school. But looking back now, I'm starting to see it was probably a mindset because in college I really didn't have any problems with math. But I did not excel in school, but it wasn't an issue on the cognition aspect. It was just from being lazy. I mean, pure and simple. I did not like to study, and I only studied if it was for the ACT or a very important assessment, which I would normally do well on, but studying was not very important to me. My cultural development, I grew up upper middle class. Both of my parents still work for NASA, so their yearly income combined is actually quadruple what I'll make as a teacher. My parents stayed married until I graduated high school, but they divorced soon after, in which they both agreed that their divorce was due to financial disputes. So they couldn't really agree on what they found important to spend their money on. My sister and I were able to afford the sports that we wanted to do. We were able to afford the supplies, the uniforms. So money wasn't truly an issue for us growing up. But that doesn't mean that we didn't have to earn our money the hard way. We still had weekly chores, and we had to work for our parents. If we wanted to, go to the movies or buy new clothes or hang out with our friends, we still had to do our chores. I eventually got a job after graduating high school at a cupcake shop in Huntsville called Gigi's Cupcakes. And I began working at a shoe store after that. And then after I got married, I applied to be a substitute teacher for Jackson County schools. Sorry. My emotional development during preschool to school age was very normal. It was very exciting. I have just the greatest memories from being a kid. Once I reached my adolescence age is when I developed depression. I began to realize that my parents didn't really love each other, and that began to affect my relationships with my boyfriends, which they were unhealthy. And then my schoolwork, because I began putting it off because I could not cope with my depression and I didn't want to tell anyone about my depression. It began to surmount my ability to complete my schoolwork. I began to self-harm as a way of escaping the hardships in my life. I did not like myself, in which I so wish I could go back and give myself a swift kick in the rear end, because I love myself now, and it is because of who I was as a teen and everything that I overcame on an emotional level. My moral development, from the entirety of my childhood, I was raised through what I learned through my religious beliefs. I was raised a Southern Baptist, and my morals were based on the eagerness to please God. Our belief was so that you should always do things that would eventually earn yourself a place in His kingdom once your life was over on earth. My moral development through being in the church taught me the difference between what is right and what is wrong. I was a very well-behaved child because of these beliefs. I would always think back to Scripture when faced with a decision that would lead me down a hard path. My physical development was founded upon my gymnastics background. I began doing gymnastics when I was 3 years old and competed for 6 years. It taught me fine motor skills such as coordination, and it started me very young with muscle tone. Because of my gymnastics background, I was able to excel in the competitive cheerleading scene. I cheered for 6 years, 2 years in middle school and 4 years in high school. And for four of those years, I cheered for Lisa Adderholt, who is the most winningest high school cheerleading coach in Alabama. I learned to maintain a healthy weight, exercise regularly, the importance of stretching, and to push my boundaries physically. My social development has always been one that is very outgoing. It is very easy for me to approach people and spark a conversation. I always found myself in my own clique because I never wanted to be a part of a set group. I was a part of every social group that there was in school. I wanted to learn the interest of all of the social cliques and that there was in school, and I believe that is why I was liked by so many. I truly believe myself to be a social butterfly. And this may be the reason that I was voted prom queen and voted homecoming queen in high school because of these beliefs. I believe I represented best what it is to be a friend to everyone. My personal philosophy is definitely existentialism. I believe that every person has a purpose for being alive at their very moment throughout the centuries. I believe that it is truly up to you to find out that very purpose of your life. My purpose in life is to raise my children to become a crucial part of the good that we need in the world. My job is to lay the foundation for them to build upon and create their very own purposes for their life. This philosophy is why I chose to become an educator. I want to help children with finding the beginnings of their life's purposes. I want to lay that same foundation that I am providing for my own children for my students. I want them to know that there is a reason that they are alive. I want them to find what they are truly good at, and I want them to discover what makes them happy and excited to be alive. Thank you.